It is now time to experience the buzz, a podcast that takes an inside look at amazing people doing amazing things. Get ready for some great conversation that will be fascinating, educational, and inspiring. We will also leave room to help small businesses in a big way. Now, here's your host, entrepreneur Steve Buzzard.
Hello, everyone. It is Steve Buzzard of Experience the Buzz. I want to welcome you in for another podcast. That's right. We keep inching toward episode 100. We're very excited around here. It's episode 87. And 2 weeks ago, I brought to you my sons, who are better known as the Banter Bros. They once had a podcast. We are trying to revitalize that. Last week, we then featured them in our final segment behind our guest Kate Pohl of the Tiny Details. And today, guess what? We're bringing the four originals. That's right, the ones that make up this group chat. So in addition to Toph and Max, who you know very well, we're going to welcome in Nick Hilton and Kirk Langley. It's a lot of fun, but more about that in just a second. It is time for What's the Buzz. So the big news is 2 items, and I know we say them week after week, but really want to hammer this home. Number one, we are on YouTube. Have been now for almost about 2 months. I really invite you to check it out. If you love the audio let's keep up with that. But I don't know about you. For me, when I hear a great audio version, I'm like, you know what? If it's got a video version, I'll go check it out. And of course, I'm a visual person. So if that's you, then you can find us on YouTube. Experience the Buzz. Of course, we'll have all the links for you to get directly there. And also, we keep promoting the fact that we're going to have episode number 100, and our plan is to do a live show. That's right. So we're going to have some details that will be coming out on that, as well as the date and time. So definitely stay tuned for that. And that's What's the Buzz. Now, let's go ahead and get to our guests. I've already told you, we got Toph and Max Buzzard. We got Kirk Langley and Nick Hilton. This is going to be a wild ride. So I will actually tell you that I don't think it should be an unfiltered version, but this is definitely going to be a filtered version and just give you a little taste of what these 4 guys will bring to life that takes place in their group chat. So without further ado, enjoy the conversation. Hey everyone, it is Steve Buzzard of Experience the Buzz, and today, we have got a great show for you. I know, let's take it back 2 shows ago. We featured the Banter Bros. That would be Toph and Max Buzzard, my sons. Then what we decided to do is we decided to make it a segment on top of having a guest. We did that last week with our guest Kate Pohl of the Tiny Details. Well, this week we said, you know what? We're bringing back the Banter Bros, but we're going to step it up a level because within their podcast, we had talked about 2 other gentlemen. You get to meet and hear from them tonight. Kirk Langley and Nick Hilton join Experience the Buzz. Kirk, how you doing tonight?
Fantastic. How are you doing, Steve?
I'm doing very well. Nick from Chadron, Nebraska.
Hey, pleasure to be here.
Good to have you. And, of course, we welcome in Max and Toph. Max, how are you this evening?
Doing all right, just living the life.
All right. And, of course, Toph, we finish up with you.
Hey, just like my other 3 brothers.
Oh, I'm
here.
sorry.
Yeah.
Vivek,
yeah. I entered the chat as Vivek tonight, just for everyone's context there. But, hey, doing great. Excited to do this. Let's get it.
All right, so let's get right to it. So as I was coming into this podcast, I was very excited. I actually got to be a part of the group chat. So again, I get a glimpse of, I don't get the full deal when it comes to the group chat that takes place between these 4 gentlemen. But I think it's very important that we give some context. And that's where I want to start, and we'll do that quickly and then get into our first segment. So Toph and Max kind of talked about it, but let's get a take from both Kirk and Nick about how this all originated. Kirk, we'll start with you.
I can't remember the exact time. I think it might have been right after we all graduated high school. And I think I might have texted Max and Toph right away, and we were like probably bantering about the NBA playoffs, something stupid. And then I think we added in Nick a little later, and we started just bantering about, everyday life, and, all our shenanigans started popping up. I think it started with us trying to hang out too, like organize hangouts and whatnot. So that's kind of where it started as well. So kind of started after 2014 and then just took off, and now it's 2022. So 8 solid years.
Well, it's interesting because Kirk has stayed primarily in Sacramento, a little bouncing around with Toph and Max, but I think the man who's logged the most miles would be Nick Hilton. We said he's in Nebraska now, but he played collegiately as well. What would you add to this as far as the origin of the Banter Bros group chat, Nick?
Yeah, not everyone has been in the chat consistently. There's been an occasional drop off here and there, but at the end of the day, all the bros came back together at some point. And we're the Banter Bros, and we got the group chat rolling, and it's been strong.
When I think of great foursomes, I go to my heavy metal, Van Halen, I go to Metallica, I go to Gojira, I go to Mastodon. Those are all bands with 4 people in them. We've got a great foursome right here. And speaking of number 4, the Sacramento Kings have the number 4 pick. Max, kick us off. The banter begins now.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Also, number of a King's great, Chris Webber. So the 4, it's really playing a large part in tonight's podcast, which is pretty cool. I know your dad, our grandpa, will appreciate the number thing if he ever listens. But, that's great for the Kings because, I just was checking the Banter Bros group chat today, and a lot of, we're getting 7 to 8, which was the highest odds to get. And, Hilton even earlier was like, yeah, I'm not feeling the magic. We got the second pick a couple years ago, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to happen again. We're going to fall where we probably will or lower. And then I check, and Jake, our cousin, said, OMG. And then I go to the Banter Bros, and there's about 30 missed messages of, wow, we're in the top 4. So it kind of all came together. I wasn't able to watch the lottery. I was at work, but I got some good updates from the boys, and it seems like we're in a pretty good spot. You have the opportunity to seek a trade for a really good player with that number 4 pick. I mean, top 4 is always highly coveted in the game of basketball. Because after that, it's not too deep this year. But, I'm excited for the Kings. I mean, sadly, this is our, Super Bowl, NBA Finals, World Series, whatever you want to call it. It's every year. I hope this is the last one for a couple years, but probably not. Anyways, pretty fun.
Toph?
I'm going to tell you guys, I'm feeling really good about the Sacramento Kings right now. New coach, Mike Brown. Just listen back to the pod. I thought our takes were really good. We don't absolutely love it, but we don't hate it. We could love it somewhere down the road. Boys, we had a 7.5% chance to get that top 4 pick, and we got it. Things are feeling up for the Sacramento Kings. Now, I'm going to flip this to Kirk because I know Kirk has a hot take on what we should do with that number 4 pick. Kirk, take the floor, sir.
All right, so I'll kind of piggyback also off what Max was saying. We were kind of Debbie Downers. At about 4 o'clock, I texted everyone. I was like, hour away. I was getting excited. I was like, we could get in the top 4, but knowing us, we'll probably stay at 7. And like Max said also, it's kind of a top 4 heavy, and then 5 through 8, you can't go wrong, but it's not anything that's going to get us excited. So I have 3 key notes I wrote as soon as the draft ended. So here's kind of, if we stay at pick 4, I was starting with the Keegan Murray out of Iowa. He's going to be 22. He's kind of like a Davion, salty vet. Or I watched a little of Jaden Ivey out of Purdue, and I know it was going around on Twitter a little bit. His similarities, and I'm not calling him the next Ja Morant, so everyone hold your horses, but the way he shoots, gets to the hoop, unbelievable. My second take is we trade Rashawn Holmes to Detroit, and we flip 4 and 5, and obviously you throw something else in there, and you take Ivy at 5, hopefully if he's there. So you get rid of Holmes, that salary, and then you get another pick, and you probably get a 2023, protected pick. But the hot take that I sent was Donovan Mitchell. Hello, Utah. What are you guys doing? Do you want Rudy Gobert or Donovan Mitchell? That's what I'm going to ask. And if you don't want Donovan, how's his cousin, Davion, pick 4 and something else? So back to the Kings for Donovan. And
So this is great. This is great because, Nick, you get to take this all in. You get to, and then really formulate what is going to probably be a great finishing take on the number 4 pick for the Sacramento Kings. Nick, I know you've been brewing.
So I was telling my boss today that it was the draft lottery, and I guess I said it with some excitement. He's like, "Why the hell are you excited about this?" I'm like, "You don't understand. It's a national holiday in the city of Sacramento." So, no, I was been juiced all day, and shoot, like Max said, I wasn't too hopeful. I thought, shoot, we're gonna get the 7 or the 8, like kind of like normal, because we got lucky. What was it, 3 years ago when we got the 2 pick, and I was like, yeah, that's too close a gap to get lucky again. But sure enough, we got it. I don't know who we're gonna pick. I'm sure Kirk's probably tapped in with more insiders than I am on Twitter, but at the end of the day, it was a win for Sacramento, so I'm pumped.
Well, Max is the Twitter guy. Max, I know you got to have some sort of formulation on what you think might happen with this, with what you've seen in the Twitter world.
Honestly, no. Honestly, I'm not really tapped into the Sacramento Kings. Twitter,
Dad, by now, Kirk has already formulated probably 50 different scenarios with guys he's DMing on Twitter that have like a certain number of followers that make him legit, but he's not verified. But Kirk's like, no, this guy's legit, guys. He knows exactly what he's talking about.
So it's interesting because what I did is I went kind of in the history books, and they formulated kind of like a top 10 of the best picks that the Kings have had. Before we do that, what I want to ask you guys, starting with you, Max, is who was your favorite Kings pick?
During my lifetime, the favorite draft pick?
Favorite draft pick?
It's got to be DeMarcus Cousins.
That's what I thought. Boogie. Okay, yeah. So just so you know, he was number 2 on that. I'll call it a top 5 list. He was number 2. How about you, Toph?
That makes sense.
My favorite draft pick is Marvin Bagley.
So sarcastic. So sarcastic.
Ahead of Luka Doncic. Yeah, Luka not doing anything this postseason, really. So I'm gonna have to go with Bagley.
Okay. Okay, we'll come back to that because I do think we will come back to that. Kirk, who is your favorite? And then we'll rewind.
I might have to go DeMarcus. I know people might say De'Aaron, but I think DeMarcus because I was truly sold on the John Wall DeMarcus team back in 2009, I believe it was. So Boogie, I was super amped about. If I could pick it.
Okay, we finish up with Nick. Nick, do you have a favorite?
I had 2, but obviously Boogie was one of them because
say 2.
He was great for us. But Tyreek Evans, I mean that was the guy. I had his rookie shirt, the 25 and 5, rookie of the year. He had an amazing upside. Obviously, hey, guy couldn't stay away from the hard H and the sugar booger or booger sugar, whatever it's called. So,
but
hey, he got banned from the league, but I think actually this year he finally got the restriction taken off. So, God bless Tyreek, but hey, gave us some great memories.
The booger sugar?
Cocaine, yeah, he's doing a little
devil
dandruff for you, kid. Come on.
Yeah, he got the axe.
Oh, he got the I didn't even know this about Tyreek.
He got
the league got him out.
But can I say
later?
We called it. Wait, was it called booger sugar? And what did you call it? Devil's
dandruff?
What? Oh, dandruff.
But Steve, before you ask the next question, I know I'm surprised Nick Hilton didn't bring up the picture of him and Boogie chilling in 8th grade. Nick, you might have it.
I think it's on Facebook somewhere. I know it's on Adam Long's Facebook somewhere. So
wow,
if we could tap into there. But yeah, I met him his first day in Sacramento. Great guy.
Nice. Okay. Do you guys want to know who else was on that list? Do you want to take any guesses?
Yeah.
Okay. Go, Toph.
No, I want to know.
Don't look.
I want to know.
Oh, you want to know?
Wait, Steve,
I thought you were looking it up.
Steve, give us the year.
No, I want to know.
Thomas Robinson?
You know, definitely not Robinson. No.
Jimmer Fredette.
Actually, not Jimmer Fredette.
Is it my guy from Duke?
Jason Williams, out of Florida.
Oh, I didn't know he drafted him.
Yeah, Jay Will. And the number one player was Isaiah Thomas. They put him as the top draft pick that the Kings received, which I thought was pretty interesting. I think the other one was Brian Grant.
Ooh.
But Brian Grant, to me, was so-so.
Yeah.
They named Isaiah.
Yeah.
Like,
where is this list from?
Yeah. What are you?
It was the Sacramento Bee thing. Yeah,
Was it like were they a Washington alumni or?
possibly.
Joe
Maybe
Davidson?
they.
Is that who it was?
Mr. Irrelevant. Players
I mean,
Tribune,
That's
written by Isaiah
weird.
Thomas.
Dad, don't you think that's weird? They
I-
put Isaiah over Jay Will, Boogie, De'Aaron? I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, and De'Aaron was number 4. So yeah, no, I agree. I would have dropped Isaiah down a lot lower.
I
So,
mean, I would put him off the list.
yeah, it's possible. But there's some pretty bad picks. So, you know,
yeah,
there's pretty bad. And it's interesting because the one time we had the top pick, we actually had 4 first-rounders, and that was an awful draft class. We've, of course, drafted Purvis Ellison. So even when we got the number 1, that wasn't great. So
who?
you don't know who Purvis Ellison is?
Absolutely.
No. I
Oh,
don't.
wow. Okay. Beyond. This is a young group that I am talking to. So
Who was taken after him?
there were some bad names. I can't even relay them
Kenny
to you.
Smith, Bobby
I
Hurley.
just skimmed over the list. Yeah.
Sorry, Dad. I didn't mean.
No, it was like 1986, so it was way back.
No, I meant like second overall.
Oh, yeah.
Like who?
It was.
Oh, you don't know.
I don't know.
I have a question though. Question.
Yes,
Were
Kirk.
any of you
Yes.
guys terrified when we got the top 4 that we would get in the position where we'd get like pick 2, and then of course it'd be like a Marvin Bagley, Luka kind of thing where we're freaking out about should we take this guy or that guy, and then of course knowing us, we probably would have taken Chet Holmgren, and he probably would retire in 3 years. So.
I think maybe you're worried about that, Kirk, because you wanted Marvin so bad, and we took him, and then Luka's like a Hall of Famer
Wow.
and stuff. So
Okay, this is going deep.
maybe
right here.
you were, but
But in my defense, okay, I am a Duke guy, so I watched Marvin every game, and not only that, he averaged 20 and 11 in the ACC. So I was thinking, okay, guy's the next Chris Bosh, and yeah, not my hottest take.
yeah, Luka was like the MVP of the EuroLeague at age 4. So
Yeah. So Kirk, you own the fact that it was a mistake on your
Oh,
part.
absolutely.
Yes.
I tell Max he has that
Okay.
one over me.
You know what?
Forever.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's like the only one.
So
I
all
have.
my texts now, Steve, are every time Luka misses a shot, I go Marvin Bagley.
So we could say it's safe to say what you guys use in the group chat, right? Carry on, right?
Carry on.
Carry on. Okay. So
Carry the hell on.
Yeah. So, yeah, and the elephant in the room, and it's not quite the elephant. I mean, I can't help but when I watch Luka, just in my mind as a Kings fan, going, what could have been? And I know you can't live on those things, but I can't help it. I can't help it. And that is the next thing that we're going to talk about, and that would be where we are right now at the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Final. We have our Final Four. It is all set, and it's not what we thought it would be. The Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks, 2 surprises, who in my top 8, I had Celtics at number 6. I had the Mavericks at number 8. What do I know, right? And they're taking on the Warriors and the Miami Heat. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. I know a game was played tonight in the Eastern Conference Finals, but overall, Max, just how about the Celtics and the Mavericks getting to that Final Four spot?
Yeah, props to them. I guess for the Celtics case, defense really does matter in the game of basketball. It's thought to be a lost art in the modern NBA. And, you hear Patrick Beverley talking about that a little too much these days. But, yeah, shout out to the Celtics. They're a pretty fun team. I think they're a lot more fun than Dallas, but that's just because they have a little more notoriety and stuff. But Tatum, he's a rising superstar. Yeah, some people have said things about that even tonight. We talk about Tatum quite a bit and where he lies in the tier of greatness in the NBA.
Okay, where is he? Where is Tatum?
I think he's a superstar now, and I think maybe even others will attest to that, but they'll have their chance to talk. And the Mavericks, screw the Mavericks, man. Like, I hate that franchise.
Wow.
Talking about being a Kings fan, Dad, you can even talk about how you kind of grew to like them because of what happened at,
I'll hit that.
Sacramento Kings organization for you if you want to tap
I'll
into
hit that.
But, it's just, I just have bad memories of Dirk and Nash and
Interesting.
Michael Finley and it just the licking behind the thinking he's better than Chris Paul and stuff like that. It's really annoying. But yeah, props to those teams. I hope the Mavs can give the Warriors a run for their money. All of my takes have been wrong, so I'm not even going to say what I think will happen.
Toph?
Okay, so I completely just need to go back to the rankings that you made, Dad. And
Thank you.
Max and I had we had a visceral reaction when you put Boston at 6. Okay, Dallas at 8 at the time. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. They were down 2-0 to the Suns, I think, at that time. But I do need to bring up this point, and this is a very important point. The two teams with the best record since a certain date, I believe in February, right around the All-Star break, the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics. So, should it be a surprise that they are where they are? Probably not. Now, I'm not going to knock you for the 8 on Dallas in your rankings, but I am going to absolutely obliterate you for the number 6 for the Boston Celtics. Because this team cares. That bloodbath that they just went through with Milwaukee was a sight to see. They were absolutely on the deck, body to body, banging all around, and that is what the NBA needs. And that series was probably one of the best second-round series that we've had in a very long time. And that's my reason why I believe, barring tonight, Miami did take care of business. They got Game 1, but to be expected. Because Game 7 bloodbath with Milwaukee, coming off that high, they got through that series. Okay, Game 1 in Miami, they gave them a good run. They lost by double digits, but I do think the Boston Celtics will prevail. And that's kind of my take on where everybody's at. I think Boston is going to prevail over Miami. And then I really like Dallas. I don't have the same disdain for the Dallas Mavericks. It actually shocks me that Max has that same disdain, or has that disdain for the Dallas Mavericks.
Because he cares for his
It's a
dad.
completely different... Well...
What does it look like?
Fuck me, right?
But it's a completely new era. The Kings have sucked for the last decade and a half. There's absolutely no tension between these teams. Now, Luka, he is a star that it can be annoying. He does have that knock on him. But, I mean, this guy is just proving to every Sacramento fan why we should have taken this guy. I mean, he's absolutely built for the moment. Game 7, 35 chicken McNugget piece, sends the Phoenix Suns home. This guy, man, I wish he was wearing the purple. But he's not. So... thanks, guys.
Yeah, and as we go to Kirk Langley, you'll notice Langley's eyes are like drifting away. He's a big Giants fan, so he's watching a little Giants baseball. Right, Kirk?
Yeah, the most handsome guy, Gabe Cowper getting it done again tonight. So I watched the pod. I saw the hate.
All right, Kirk, so here we are. Final 4. You've heard Max, you heard Vivek go at it. What about you?
Well, I'll go back to that last series that a special friend brought up about the face of the franchise, or the face of the NBA, sorry, not the franchise, and the Boston Celtics getting it done. But for me, I was very shocked with Boston. I didn't think they would, sweep the Nets in 4, obviously, and then they took the Bucks to 7. And they kind of grew up, it was kind of passing of the torch. Jason Tatum in Game 6 was incredible. Shout out Duke. But they really shocked me. And I think, I'm going back and forth with Miami and Boston because they're kind of the same team. But I think Boston will get them in 7. But it wouldn't shock me at all if Miami, obviously, they just have dogs, as Toph Buzzard likes to say. Just straight dogs. You got PJ, you got Jimmy, who's turned into playoff Jimmy, I guess. Like tonight, 41. It was like that NBA Finals Game 5 throwback Jimmy Butler tonight that just gets to the rack at will. And I'm like, holy crap, you never see this you see it a little bit in the regular season, but tonight he looked like one of the top 5 best players in basketball. But back to the Luka thing, I took the hard L. Max and I always remember we were sitting in the Buzzard household. This was right after the draft lottery, and it got a little heated. We kept going back and forth with our little facts about Marvin and Luka. And I don't think I have any ill will towards Luka. The first year I probably did because I was like, Marvin's kind of, keeping up with him a little bit, and then it just it was just all downhill from that, from Marvin and the Kings. But the thing I like about Dallas is everyone crapped on Jason Kidd as being a head coach. They said, oh, this is horrible. He was with the Bucks. He had Giannis. He couldn't do anything. And if you watch him now, he took, plays and stuff the way they ran defense in Los Angeles for the Lakers. Obviously, he's assistant coach. And they run that same defense. They just have guys that are 25 and younger, obviously, playing defense. But they're a sound team. I don't think they'll beat the Warriors, but I think it'll be closer than people think. Maybe 5 or 6. I think they'll have a game where it comes down to the wire, and obviously the Warriors' chemistry and experience of being there will be the deciding factor for my take. So I'll throw it over to the Warriors fan himself. He's got it tattooed on his shoulder. Nicholas Hilton.
Go Dubs.
Are you talking to me?
You're talking to me.
So we'll start in the East now. I think me and maybe another guy, we had like the Celtics as like a dark horse. Like they were a good team, and obviously they're maybe the best coach in the league at the moment, this season at least. He's doing an incredible job with them. But the Heat are a great organization, great coach. I'd probably say Celtics going to come out the East, despite tonight, because Jimmy was amazing, and he is amazing. But I don't know if Jason's a little different, so I'll go Celtics. But more importantly, let's talk about the West right now. All right, Luka Doncic is incredible. We all know that. The guy's a superstar. He's going to be a superstar for a long time. Spencer Dinwiddie is never going to do that again in the rest of the playoffs. I promise you that, okay? Steph Curry is back. The Warriors are back. They're going to win their 4th title. There's nothing else to say here. The big 3 Splash Bros are back, and we got a 4th guy, Jordan Poole, Splash Bro. So I don't know what else you want from me. Warriors are going to win the title. It's going to be a dogfight versus Celtics, but Warriors are going to win the ship this year.
Okay, so I realize we have established kind of an order that we're going in here, but I can tell that the 3 of you are ready to launch on this. And take me through this process, because I know Nick I know Nick to be a big Kings fan, and then in our episode, Toph and Max, you guys brought up that Nick was a big Warriors fan, and I'm perplexed. I'm confused. What happened?
Kirk?
I'm just saying, the guy moves to the Bay Area in 2019, and apparently, I guess he bought his Kevin Durant jersey, threw it away for a couple years. Now he's, it's like he had tacos and he's got a pool party in his pants, is what I'm hearing. So, I mean...
Okay. It's well established that, I sometimes bring awful takes myself, but it's well established that I can kind of oversee the group chat, because legitimately, I'll be with the wife working a job on a Friday night, and these 3 goons are hitting me up with 300 text messages. So I have to read through all these damn text messages. So I get a good, 30,000 foot view over all this stuff. So I'll just say this. I'll say this. Langley just gives Nick hell anytime Nick brings up Steph Curry. And Nick is a Steph appreciator. He loves Steph. He loves what Steph has done for the game. And Kirk just said, oh, Nick, didn't know you're such a Warriors fan now. And just slowly but surely, Kirk kept feeding that narrative into the group chat. And now it's just become a thing.
Let's go, Kirk.
There it is. I think I explained
I don't
that
know if
perfectly.
I was the
I
only
feed that too.
cog here. I think my esteemed colleague, Mr. Max Buzzard, was also... We were kind of slowly throwing, I'm kind of confused. We'd be watching a game, and Nick would be like, so-and-so went off tonight for the Warriors. And I'm like, does this guy like the Warriors? I mean, I understand. I don't not like Steph Curry. Everyone knows I'm a LeBron guy. Everyone's, you hate Steph Curry. That's not true. I just don't like the Warriors, bandwagon's back, the way that you guys said about the Giants and everything, Bay Area bandwagon. That's kind of how it turned into, because Hilton never talked about the Warriors the year that Clay was hurt and Steph was kind of in and out of the lineup. That's all my take.
Nick really needs to talk, so.
Yeah, I do need to talk.
Okay,
yeah. Yeah.
Since you guys are just passionate on me, let me defend my honor. So, I moved to San Mateo in 2019, the Bay Area, amazing place. Of course, the Warriors are right there. I'm 20 minutes from the arena. Of course, I'm going to see some Warrior games. I get the local channels, so that's what I'm watching every night. So, F me for watching basketball. So, everyone knows ever since, back in whenever the dynasty started, they play amazing basketball. It's no question, Steph changed the game, maybe more than anyone in the history of basketball. but we could debate that later. But the best shooter of all time, Clay, he's one of the top ones of all time too. Draymond, one of the best defenders of all time. I don't know how you can't not like watching them play, even if they want to like maybe showboat or do a little shimmy or whatever Kirk doesn't like that they are so cocky about, or at least what he says, cocky. But no, they play amazing team basketball. They're fun to watch. They shoot the three ball better than anyone in the history of the league. Why would you not like watching them? So of course, me, a former shooter myself, love watching the Warriors. So yeah, I like Steph Curry. I'm not a fan. I'm choosing Kings all day. I mean, what are we doing? But I'm not, you know, I'm not diehard Warriors guy. I just like
the text
watching
seemed to
them.
be a little different, but that's just me.
Well, you know, that's the problem with text, right? Perception, Nick.
Nick, wait. Nick, it was funny though. Okay,
What?
it was funny. I felt a little switch when you were like saying like, "Oh man, Dylan Brooks, he's just dirty. You got to get that stuff out of here." And I was like, "Okay, you might dislike that guy, but this seems like you're, defensive toward the Warriors more than I've seen before."
But Max, it wasn't only that. You said something, Nick, where we were like, because Nick is very he'll be watching, he'll be like, oh, this person's going off, blah, 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 talking about the game. He's never really like, oh, Warriors, Dub Nation, throwing the hashtags out. Yeah. But there was one game, I think it was in Memphis. It might have been game 1 or 2. He said something besides the Dylan Brooks thing where I was like, wow, Nick, are you a Warrior guy? And then he kind of played it off like, no, I'm just talking about the game. So that's all. Hey, I just want consistency. If you ride with Steph, that's all I'm wondering.
Look, there's a lot of hate towards the Warriors for their little antics, or whether it's Draymond, whatever. But some of that carries over a little too far, and I need to put a stop to it because you're not going to disrespect greatness.
Absolutely.
So that's where I draw the line, because they are elite.
I will say this, Nick. You've had a little zest to you in the group chat the last few days. Like,
Hey,
you're not
I'm
taking
over
any ish.
I'm over it. Steph's the best shooter of all time. Changed the game. I don't want to hear any more slander towards him because he's one of the greatest. And there's a little too much slander for my liking when he's leading his team to the Western Conference Finals when a self-proclaimed king is somewhere at home right now.
But when you got 4 of these and 4 Finals MVPs, he could be in Cancun all I want. He's probably getting his toes done. He's shouting out Drip Bayless. He's doing whatever the hell he wants.
And you want to know what the beautiful thing is? Steph is homegrown. They did it naturally. Obviously, Kevin came. They didn't bring him. He chose to come to Golden State. That's not their fault. Of course, they'll take him. But the core Warriors, they did it homegrown, naturally. Obviously, you can't say about the other guy.
That's
true.
Nick,
that's why I give you praise, because I'm like, Steph and the Warriors, homegrown. The only time I hated the Warriors was when Kevin Durant, snake in the grass.
All right, guys, and that's Banter Bros right there. Like, you just got the audio version of what happens within the group chat, and I've got specific questions that I'm going to save for the end about the group chat itself. We've been talking basketball. Kings with the number 4 pick. That's obviously the big news. And then going through the finals, of which we now have the Final Four, and then a little saltiness, in terms of everybody's allegiance. I'll address what Max was talking about. I became a Dallas Mavericks fan in 2004. That's when I got released from the Sacramento Kings. So it's never been reported out there, and I won't give full details because it's going to be a documentary, right? Let's just say this.
Dad,
I was on the
Dad,
go, Max.
Your favorite teams were, at that point, the Lakers, Mavs, and Timberwolves.
Yes, absolutely. Well, the Lakers were a distant third because I was still bitter over, obviously, the golden years and everything.
Yeah.
So I still did not like Kobe and Shaq. But we'll say later had an appreciation for him, kind of like what Nick is talking about with Steph Curry. It's like, not that he was a Warriors fan, but you can appreciate that. And that's what we talked about a couple of segments ago. But for me, it started with the Mavericks, and it was the Timberwolves that were my favorite teams because I got released for no reason. This was the line. We have decided to go another direction. And my simple response was, what direction is that? And they had no answer for me. And I don't even know who I was talking to on the phone. So there you go. This is the first time anybody's heard this. outside of
never
my
said that to
family.
us.
I have never. No. So there it is. So yes, I would say, and I remember it being weird because for Toph and Max, I don't think you guys could quite understand what was going on, but it was kind of a weird thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, Mom, obviously, would let us stay up really late when you had to go to the home Kings games. And, you know, I think you were on TV like one time, and I was just like, oh my gosh, my dad's a celebrity. I mean, this is amazing. You know, and Toph and I would go to the radio station with you, and there's just so many memories there, and it was so cool. And then when it stopped, it was just kind of like, oh, I guess Dad's not doing that anymore. But, you know, we were so young, we had no idea what the ins and outs of the whole situation were.
Toph?
The only bit that I remember from it was we almost moved to Minnesota.
Correct.
Because you had a job lined up with the Lynx in hopes of, you know, getting some T-Wolves time, but they said there's no guarantee with the T-Wolves, and you said, no, we're not making the switch. So I do remember that part of it.
Well said right there. And the basketball segment is in the books. When we come back, we are going to turn things around, talk about some other sports topics, and of course get more of an insight to the Banter Bros. But we've got them all here. We've got Max, we've got Toph, we've got Kirk, and we've got Nick. We will take a break and come back on the other side. Well, we're only going to take one break in today's podcast. Wow, what an opening segment. As you can see, once again, on the video end, not coming to you from the studios. That's right. Taking a little trip in Pismo Beach, but it's still worth getting Experience the Buzz out to you on a weekly basis. And of course, we are featuring the Banter Bros in full. That's right, the full horsemen, as I like to call them. So would like to thank our sponsors. We're getting them all to you, so I'm going to run through them. R5 Stitch and Print, Troy Rousey, big thank you. He's the owner there. Their website is r5print.com. You can also reach them at 916-454-3773. And of course, they are experts in when it comes to screen printing and embroidery. They have a team on hand that can help you with everything that you need. R5 Stitch and Print. Next, would like to thank Pit Boss Jerky, Joe Green. We feature him in show number 26. Troy Rousey in episode number 25. But Pit Boss Jerky, 13 different flavors of beef jerky, and it's local right here in Sacramento. The flavors are amazing. We have one named after the show, Experience the Buzz, the 13th flavor that just came out a couple months ago, White Bull's Barbecue. Another popular one is Island Teriyaki, and they even have a keto mix. And I just named off 4. There's 9 others. To order, you have to call this number, 916-769-6807. That puts you in direct contact with Joe Green, and you can place your order, and he'll take good care of you. So again, a big thank you to Pit Boss Jerky. We're halfway there. Little Whale Swim School, like to thank them. Anya Hall, who is the owner of the premier swim school in Sacramento, is featured in episode number 6. They are located at 4106 El Camino Avenue. You can find them on littlewhaleswim.com. They are also under that name when it comes to Facebook and Instagram. The Premier Swim School, how are they that? Well, there's 2 big things to stand out. Year-round, they are open, and they have a custom indoor facility. That means the water is going to be nice and warm. They cater mostly to babies and kids, but even have adult classes. So again, littlewhaleswim.com. And finally, Matt the Mortgage Guy, Matt Gouge, featured in episode 28. He specializes in everything when it comes to refinances and loans. Took care of a refinancing with me and my wife. Got it done in about a month from start to finish. Their team was along the way, the whole way, and that did make a big difference. How can you find them? mtmg.com, or you can call 916-802-9291. And also do this. Check Matt out on YouTube. He is a big star, over 500 videos, over 1 million viewers, and he basically is there to educate. And not only that, he does a live show every Monday at 6 o'clock. So it's Matt the Mortgage Guy, Little Whale Swim School, Pit Boss Jerky, and R5 Stitch and Print. And those are the sponsors of this very show right here, Experience the Buzz. Now it's time to get back with the Banter Bros, the whole group, Toph, Max, Nick, and Kirk. Let's get back to it.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss an episode of Experience the Buzz by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. It means everything. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back in. Of course, a big thank you to our sponsors. You heard a little bit more about them, but you know what? They're worth saying again. Pit Boss Jerky. We thank the Pit Boss, Joe Green, R5 Stitch and Print, Little Whale Swim School, and Matt the Mortgage Guy. So I'm back with the incredible foursome here. I was thinking about it. If you guys were a band, what would you be? And I've got it all mapped out. So, Nick, you would be the drummer because you remind me of like an Alex Van Halen. I think you could kill it on the drum set. I think Kirk would be the bass. He'd be slapping the bass in the background. Yep. Toph, I would give you lead guitar. No doubt. I'd give you lead guitar. I think you can handle that very well. And Max would be our lead singer. So there you go. The incredible foursome known as the Banter Bros. And by the way, not coming to you from the home office, actually in Pismo Beach to record this great session with the boys. So let's start this segment out this way. And that is getting a little bit more background on Nick and Kirk. We've heard why the Banter Bros, that the group chat happened, but maybe Nick, just give us a little background on yourself, starting with you.
Yeah, St. Ignatius, K through 8. I saw these guys, Vivek and Kirk, in PAL a few times, and I think we came out victorious most of the time, except when Langley had Thomas Spurbeck on his flag football team. But besides that, we had some good battles. Played some ball at J-High. Had one of the best freshman teams ever. Shout out to Frosh Gold. We had an amazing team. So, after high school, yes, 26-1. After that, went to Fresno City, played 2 years of JUCO ball, and then moved out to Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska. Played 2 years there, and then got into coaching right after. Coached at San Mateo Junior College for about two and a half years, and then this past year was my first year in Chadron, Nebraska. It's a very small town, and but Division II basketball, so chasing the dream.
Basketball is in the blood.
Go Eagles.
Kirk, chime on in.
So I believe I obviously met Toph before Nick, so I think I met Toph maybe in 7th grade because, my aunt works with Steve, and I'd always walk over to St. Michael's because OLA was literally around the corner. And I'll never forget my first encounter with you, Steve, was I was shooting on the hoop outside, and it was like right before you guys were getting out, and you came out and you were like, hey, what are you doing here? Because you had no idea who I was. And I was like, oh, my aunt teaches here, blah, blah, blah. And then I don't know how Toph and I actually started hanging out. It might have been through that. But we obviously got really close. I was at your guys' house probably every weekend in middle school. And then we formed a better friendship in high school, obviously freshman basketball, through all the shenanigans from sophomore to senior year. And we always, had that bond where Max was always a little brother to us. So we always had, we were doing our thing, but Max was always following us around. And our biggest cheerleader, sorry, that sounds a little weird, but our biggest fan at the Judgment basketball games. I'll never forget Toph drove us home after that section championship win. And then I stayed, homegrown to Sacramento, went to AR for 2 years, and then Sac State, and currently about to finish up my real estate, so I'll be doing that. So you'll see this beautiful face around Sacramento on the benches. You go to Loman's Plaza, come and find me. No, I'm kidding. But, so that was about it, and I think, it's been 10 years now, or more, Toph, I want to say. 2009, 2010, so about 12 years, so... We were all in your wedding, which was unbelievable. We were joking about that today a little bit. So we're just waiting on Max, who's next, apparently. So,
So this is what I want to roll into, and that would be like my two favorite memories of these guys. Well, first of all, with Nick. Actually, Nick and I, we go way back. I actually hosted his birthday party when he was like in 3rd or 4th grade. Do you remember that? You, Adam Long, and
me, and Adam, and
was there one other?
Corbett Kniff?
Yes, Kniff. Yes. Yep, we had a little basketball party at St. Ignatius.
Yep.
Who would have thought, right? And then
great party.
Here's the thing about Nick. So that team he's talking about at St. Ignatius, well, we ended up playing St. Ignatius in the championship, and we were kind of like the David against Goliath. We took out St. John the Evangelist, who thought we had no business being there, and we actually wiped them off the floor. That was actually our best game. But then we come up against the Beast, SI, coached by the one and only Jerry Lane, and he's got the big three. He's got Nick Hilton, he's got Lake Lutz, and he's got Brady Anderson. I mean, how do you get by that? And admittedly, we had put in a defense where we were going to contain Brady and Lake, but we did not account for Nick. And I don't mean that as any disrespect, but he torched us because when you look at the score, I think you guys scored like 60-something. You had like 24. Lake had 22. Brady had 23. And then one other guy on your team had 2. But that's
Evan Brandt.
There it is. So anyways, and then just watching Nick obviously going on to the next level, playing at Jesuit, and they ended up, those same 3 guys with Kirk and other additions, had a great senior year in which they were able to play at Arc Oak or Sleep Train Arena, whatever you want to call it. And then with Langley, it's weird because my one favorite memory is one where he's pulling up lame on the sideline like he got a Charlie horse or something, and it cost OLA the game. And my question to you, Kirk, was that the semifinal game against SI, or was that in the Jesuit Junior Classic?
That was the J-High Junior Classic.
That's what I thought.
In the championship game. Yeah, and I'll never forget, I think we were either tied in that point.
It was a great game.
I remember my leg gave out, and Tom Griffin, who was assistant coach, goes, "You'll get him next time." And I'm just thinking, like, this is the closest we're probably ever going to get to, like, almost beating them, because we played them in an earlier tournament, and they outscored us by, like, I think Lake outscored our whole team in a championship game. So I was like, I got to give it a go, and they didn't let me play, and that was tough. But no, when you have Nick, Brady, and Lake, I mean, you can't really compete against that. So,
Nick, is there anything we need to know about that St. Ignatius team that maybe has not been divulged?
I mean,
Yeah.
Like with Coach Lane, or,
Were you guys
did he really?
performance enhancing drugs?
booze on the sidelines.
There was nothing crazy. I mean, we had Lake Lutz dunking in 8th grade after games, and that was like the biggest thing because no one in PAL could do that. But it helped having those guys, the tallest guys in the league, on the same team. But nothing crazy.
I have a question. For
What do you
Nick.
got?
Nick, were you shaking in your boots when we won the tip-off and Taylor Avakian hits a fadeaway bank 3 and the crowd is going
If
wild?
we're gonna lose,
Were you quaking?
if we're gonna lose to Taylor Avakian banked 3, I'll live with that any day. Just shout out to Tay, good guy. Love the guy now, but I mean, no, we're living with that all day.
Yeah, it's great too.
Fair enough. Hey, all I have to say is I got a phantom foul and I fouled out, and that changed the result. So
That was tough. Because that was by Woody, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago. And yeah, gosh, that was tough. And he admitted it. He did admit it. So it was the wrong number. But anyways, okay, back to sports. We are talking with the guys that make up the Banter Bros group chat. Here they are. They're right here. Toph, Max, Kirk, and Nick. And so we're going to flip the order, and we're going to start with Nick. And Nick, we're going to get into baseball, because I'm curious of what you can share about what your allegiance is when it comes to baseball.
Well, look, I mean, my favorite player of all time is the one and only Coco Crisp. Best hair ever in baseball. Absolute just killer. But more importantly, let's talk about fantasy baseball. So last year I won the ship. It was a hard-fought battle. First year in the league. I mean, hey, found a way. And yeah, it was pretty special looking to run it back. But hey, I got a great staff. That's the key to my draft. But hey, you guys do what you want to do in the draft. But that's my strategy. So that's all I know. Fantasy baseball is my little niche. Go A's.
Langley, I think this is the proper place for you to explain your allegiance, which I had to admit, when you told us in the text, because we had talked about it during our Banter Bros segment, I did not realize it, and I apologize. I wish I would have, asked this question to you earlier. but it really did help me give perspective on why you're a fan of the two teams that you are. Carry on.
Yeah. I mean, besides the show list I have right here, if you guys can't see at home, I mean, looking like Harper out here. But as you guys all know, and this is where Max, Toph, Steve, and I disagree, we have pretty much all the same teams. You know, we got the Raiders, we got USC football, we got the Kings, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I'm a Giants fan. Growing up, single mom home, I was jumping from house to house, but your coworker used to have a husband, and every night we'd eat ice cream and we watched the Giants. So this was right when Bonds was in his heyday. And so, of course, growing up playing baseball, I was like, oh, I want to be like Barry Bonds. So obviously stayed with that. And then my whole family is obviously from Sacramento as well. So I stayed, they were all Niner fans. And so there was this one day, I think it was like Niners Seahawks in like 2002. And they're all cheering on the Niners, and I was in a bad mood, 6 years old, probably got told I couldn't have candy or something, I don't know. But I just go, I'm not rooting for the Niners, like, screw this. And I had a cousin I looked up to, and he was like, I'm a huge Raider fan. So ever since that day, I kind of, stayed with him, which is, I don't know why, because our history has been terrible. But, yeah, so I'm a Giants fan and a Las Vegas Raider fan. But to go back to your baseball question, 22-14, I can't really complain. We've had the cast of the Goonies start off with us. Our lineup looks like a double-A squad at times, but we're getting healthy. We have the most handsome manager, most handsome shortstop. We won 107 games last year. I know you guys were happy to see us lose that Game 5, which was BS, but I'm kidding. But it's been kind of tough as a Giants fan because we're in a loaded division, so we're catching up with those Dodgers. We're only, I think, a game back now, maybe a game and a half back now. So I like the start so far, and we'll see how it plays out because we have about 7 guys that are 35 that are hitting about 280 right now. So we'll see how that turns out.
So, Toph, as we move to you, I know we kind of had already talked about baseball, and we're just kind of moving along. And obviously, since our last discussion, it's weird with the A's, which would be our allegiance. It's just strange because it doesn't seem all that bad, but it's bad. I don't know how to put it.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad. It's tough. I mean, I know you got to be a fan. You got to stick through the years, and you guys know I always will. But I haven't watched a game in a couple weeks, if I'm being quite honest. It's tough. I follow along. I check in. But just the window that we're in right now, it's very clear where we're at. It's very clear where things are headed, and that's okay. I trust in everybody upper echelon in the management to make it right in the next few years. And, right now, got a kid on the way, other things to focus on. And, when we get good again, I'll flip on the tube.
Now, someone who goes a little deeper into the Oakland A's would definitely be Max. So what Kirk is on Twitter to the Sacramento Kings, Max is on Twitter to the Oakland A's. So, Max,
clarification for Kirk.
Yes.
Clarification. Kirk is like all on Twitter for everything.
It's more all my squad.
Like not Drake's new album. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's on everything. So, just a clarification.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw him give a little.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk told me when my favorite rapper's album was coming out before I heard it. So,
I think that's true.
No, it was. You told me before. I did not know the date.
Yeah,
I thought I broke that news.
I think you said it, but then Kirk gave a time or something. He got it.
Are we talking about your boy
Anyways,
Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great album, by the way.
Great video too.
We could go into debate on that.
Oh, we will.
If you ever want to debate rap music, Dad.
Okay.
Here we go.
That's our bonus coverage right there.
Wait, do you want me to
I can't
talk
wait.
about the A's? Or?
Yeah, no, go A's, and then we'll swing it back to rap.
I've got the game on right now. This might be the only player, Dad, that you know on the team, Ramon Laureano. He's a familiar name. Up before that was Christian Bethencourt. Do you know who that is?
I do.
Okay. Dope to you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, wow. Okay, that's good at least. But yeah, not a guy that many know. Nick, not too familiar with Christian Bethencourt?
No.
Yeah.
No.
See, back in the day, you'd have guys like Donaldson, Cespedes, Coco,
Coco.
Derek Norris, guys that our boy Nick here knew who they were, even though he wasn't turning on the tube all the time. But now it's seriously, it's not great. They have the worst on-base percentage, average slugging percentage in all of Major League Baseball. Their average as a team is 199, and that's the lowest it's been in, like, I think it was like over 40 years or something in the first 30 whatever games. So the product on field's not great. But they're up 5-2 right now. They might win. So, and then they'll be 16-22, So that's kind of the funny thing is, like, as bad as the product is, we might find a way, because we're always good at pitching. So we might find a way to get close to 500. But yeah, it's not great. But we talked about it before. I'm looking ahead to bigger and better things with hopefully a new stadium in Oakland, because that's where they belong.
Okay, baseball in the books. I don't think we have to address any more. So let's go right to rap music. Nick, kick me off. Where are we going here? Tell me about some of the debates that happen within the Banter Bros group chat. I'm very curious.
Probably the biggest one is most of us know Drake, Drizzy, Aubrey, as some like to call him. He's a little bit of a pop star, a little bit of a rapper. At the end of the day, the man makes hits. There's no debate about that. There's no debate about that. He makes more hits than anyone, almost for sure, in that genre. So I'm not saying he's the best rapper alive or anything, because he's not. But he makes the most hits, gets the most streams and most love, and literally anything he puts out, just because he's Drake, gets a bunch of love, and that's powerful. So he's got the juice.
So I have to ask Nick, what would be, if you could rattle off your top, like, 1, 2, 3 Drake songs, what would they be?
I'll give you the album. The best album of all time, Take Care by Drake. Amazing album. It got a little R&B, a little rap, got it all. But that's his best album. Songs, you could name like 50. I don't know where to start on that. Langley probably knows better than I do, but...
Langley, where you at on the Drake thing? Or is there somebody else in your
Drizzy's
department?
My guy. See him catch him courtside at the Raptors games, just doing his thing. But I think, I respect Kendrick. I like to get under Max's, behind, and he gets a little, worked up about it. But, I'm a Drizzy guy. Honestly, not the biggest. I've kind of tailored off of rap music a little bit, so I'm not in tune like these guys are. So, more of a country guy, if I'm being honest right now. So, in my playing days, I loved rap, but I've slowly gone to where I enjoy listening to country. So, find me a Southern Belle, get some whiskey, and we'll call it a night.
Emma's going to be like, okay.
It's just for views. Come on, Max.
All right. Well, it's interesting because you see, Langley going through, transition and stuff, a little rap going to country. Nothing wrong with that. You've got a kid coming along the way. What's your deal?
Beethoven.
Jack Johnson. No, I had older cousins, and Max and I have talked about this at length. We've talked about it in the group chat, I think, at some point. But, I was heavily influenced by rap music due to my older cousins, and I was just around it all the time. So that'll never, ever go away. It's actually funny. My wife and I have had conversations about, all right, what music are we going to show our kids? And I think I want them to be able to listen to rap music and to be able to, be cultured in a sense, not in the woke sense, but just be cultured in the sense that they can hear different backgrounds and people's struggles. And I think rap music is beautiful for that, because it's where people, pour their hearts out, explain what they've come from. So it's actually funny that you bring that up, because we definitely want to show our kids at the right age what rap music is and what influenced us. So as far as this Drake versus Kendrick thing, I think the most recent thing I brought up personally was, I don't know if you've had a chance to see it, Dad, but Kendrick released a music video called The Heart Part 5. And it's pretty spectacular, right? What he did with that technology and what he did with the meaning, right? And the depth to it. And I think that's where Max and I come in against Drake. And I'm not saying that Drake doesn't have any meaningful music, because I'll be honest, I never throw on Drake. I never choose to listen to Drake. If Drake's got like a pop hit that's a smash hit, it might make its way into my playlist, but I'm never choosing to listen to Drake. Like, oh, let me search Drake and play this Drake song. It's just, he might make his way into his rotation seldomly. Now, Drake has probably some meaningful music, but my take last time was Drake would never make a music video like Kendrick just made that music video. That's the depth to his artistry that I don't think Drake can tap into. And my argument is Drake is mainstream, making pop hits, pop rap hits. Kendrick is a rap artist that is a top 5 goated rapper, where Drake is just not that. And I think that's where we split off, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with Drake being this pop star rapper or Kendrick being this down-to-earth, makes real meaningful stuff.
Wow. Strong take. Max, you get to finish it off.
Yeah, it's, I know people like both, and I think obviously Kirk and Nick both really like Kendrick too. It's not that they don't. It's just that I hate Drake. And I don't like to give Drake his roses or his flowers because I don't see the appeal, and I'm being serious. I don't. It's so commercial. It's so fake to me. And he's tried before to like have these like back and forth like rap battles through songs. Famous one was with a rapper named Pusha T, and he just got destroyed. Like, he absolutely got destroyed. And I think that's, he considers himself a rapper, but he's going against a rapper who, Pusha T's a good rapper, but he's not like top whatever, okay? And he got destroyed. So it's like, stay in your lane of just being that pop guy. Don't act all tough and stuff. Like, that's just not you, Drake. It's fine. You have obviously the most fans in the world, maybe next to Taylor Swift. But that's cool, man. You and Tay Swift can go hang out at the, whatever it is, okay? But Kendrick Lamar, top 5 rapper of all time. We talked about this last night. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. It's basically like a therapy session. It is amazing. I know Kendrick, this is not me just like, I'm kind of a nerd about it. I read in a lot. He really was talking about his savior complex and how he struggled with that in the past. He talks about all of his struggles, his worldly struggles. He kind of has a faith component, but it's not like I don't know. He doesn't let that stop him from being his true self, expressing his life. He's got a family now. He's the guy who locks in. He's like that LeBron James, Steph Curry in the playoffs type. Like, when it's time to shine, he does. And that's what I love. He's not releasing like 10 albums a year that get hits. I don't care about hits.
Well, I can report this. The A's did win 5-2, so that just in, which is great. Kirk and Nick, I think it's only fair that I let you guys, respond to what Toph and Max were able to say, because they gave their take on Drake, and now you can respond.
Nick, take it away.
No, I mean, yeah, we love Kendrick, makes amazing music, amazing rapper. It was a good album. But Drake makes the hits, he makes the fun stuff, you want to vibe with the girl, you want to get a little dance on, you want to go get a little drink and just have something playing, like, that's the vibe, man. And Drake, I mean, he makes music for any little occasion, man. And but no, Drake's that guy. He's not even my favorite or anything, but he makes the hits. But Kendrick, yeah, he's a better rapper, for sure.
All right. Kirk, finish it off.
As Kendrick Perkins would say, carry the hell on.
Okay, we will do that. By the way, any take on DJ Khaled? Because I'm trying to figure out, why is this guy doing the same thing Drake is doing now? Has he been doing that for a while? Is that a thing? Because I just saw that the other day, and I go, what the heck? Why is he doing that? Where he's screaming at referees. He's doing what Drake does on the sidelines.
He gave Spoelstra a shoulder
Is he a Heat guy? Yeah, he's a Heat guy.
Yeah, he's a Heat
It's
guy.
unnecessary. It's
funny.
unnecessary. DJ Khaled.
Yeah, like go on Weight Watchers, DJ. Come on. guys pulling up from thing he's gonna pull up. Like, come on, guys.
Boys, this is how I have to finish out. First of all, I want to thank each of you. This has been great. It was exactly what I expected and then some. But I think it's only fair that we finish out with some of the hottest takes that have taken place. You revealed some, within this segment, this podcast, but are there any that stick out? So we stay in order. Nick, you get to kick it off. Does one come to mind where maybe things got heated? I know you mentioned sometimes, some of the boys may drop off for various reasons. Give me something.
Yeah, I mean, certain guys, are attached to players, and we just like to call that out sometimes. So all I got to say is, Steph Curry is more influential to the game of basketball than LeBron James. Carry the hell on.
Wow, Kirk.
I mean, I just don't answer to false statements like that. So, time of day. I think the hottest take that I can remember in the last year is probably hearing that a guy from Greece is the face of the NBA, which I just don't understand that. When, number 6 in LA is still in the NBA, most talked about athlete ever, most jerseys sold, still at age 37, averaging 30 and 8, even if it's pointless because his 28-year-old's a stick. So my hot take is LeBron James is still the best player in the NBA. I'll say that until he retires. When he's 42 and him and Bronny are winning championships in Cleveland, we'll talk soon.
Wow. Toph.
Yeah, so I made that take that Giannis is now the face of the NBA. So I'm going to defend that take, and then I'll give another hot one. Giannis is a better basketball player at this time and point than LeBron James right now. He's more lethal. He is more feared. He can dominate a game more so. Now, I'm not saying that Giannis, over the course of his career, will have more of an impact than LeBron. LeBron might be top 2 in that sense. But I will defend that, saying Giannis is still the face of the NBA right now, even though he got knocked out without Chris Middleton, must I add. So, that's all I got to say. Now, probably the hottest take, and I don't care, I'm going to bring this up, was an absolute fallout with the group chat when Kirk Langley wanted to make a basketball trade in fantasy basketball. It went
sideways.
It went, if it could be more south than south, it went way south.
Oh my.
And there was a little bit of, we've never talked about this,
saltiness.
It kind of just went, it went under the rug. I wish I had the names of the players.
Look at Langley.
Face right now.
I got the names here. You want the names?
Yeah, Kirk, tell us the trade that you wanted to make to Mullins Flat.
Well, I was having enough of this
Sean
whole
Donahue.
AD and KD couldn't stay on the floor. I mean, they were just, every week they were breaking something, COVID, blah, blah, blah. So my team was just down the drain. So I made a trade with Mullins Flat Top, just trying to build for the future, trying to make an auto new league. Devin Booker, AD, for some, I don't even remember who it was for, but it was more collusion. I wasn't serious about the trade. I'm not a lunatic.
It was like Terry Rozier in some.
Yeah, I mean, who
Mo
doesn't love Terry?
Terry Rozier and Mo Bamba.
And Tyler Hero.
And you guys are just a soft-ass league. I'm going to throw it out there. So you guys Max didn't want to lose the championship, so he got butthurt that I traded Mullins Flat Top. And look what happened. The basketball gods are always watching, right?
Kirk,
Hilton?
you just admitted that it was collusion.
Yes, of course it was. I know that.
So, yeah, I got butthurt.
But, so...
Hey, Max, wait. Who ended up winning the league?
I forget.
It wasn't Mullins Flat Top, was it?
It wasn't Mullins Flat
It
Top.
was,
okay.
It was
it Ben?
Yeah, it was someone.
McMuffin?
It was someone else. It was CJ McMuffin was the team name. In the context for the audience, Dad, is Kirk wanted to make this trade. We vetoed the trade. We literally got everybody to vote for the trade. We vetoed the trade.
Softly.
Kirk didn't take exception to that, and I didn't hear from Kirk for about a month.
Langley went south.
And look what happened. No one won, so my job's done. Carry on.
All right, Max, you get the final take of the night. What has been the hottest take in the Banter Bros group chat?
Well, I think I gotta bring up that Rudy Gobert is the weakest star in the NBA. He deserves absolutely nothing, truly. He seems to be a bad teammate. He did that thing when COVID started.
He
touched
started
all the
COVID.
mics and basically shut down the league. He's a little baby out there. It's like, I'll say something bad about him, and then he gets a layup for the win, and Hilton's all, yeah, there's Gobert. And I'm like, Hilton, I mean, freaking, anyone would have made that. It was an alley-oop.
So, Max, who loves Gobert? Is it Nick or Kirk?
Hilton.
Hilton loves Gobert?
Oh, whoa.
Hilton and Toph.
No, I don't love Rudy. He's that guy. But look, he is the most feared and most biggest presence in the paint.
I don't
in the
think
league.
he's the most feared.
He's the biggest presence in the paint in the league.
Yeah.
And if you watch that Mavericks series, nobody wanted a piece of him. Obviously, Mavericks won because Luka's amazing and Donovan sucked. But no, they did not want any piece of the paint. Like he changes things.
Yeah.
He's still Rudy. He caused COVID.
I have a question
but
for
hey,
you.
he's
When Maxi Kleba is hitting threes on Rudy Gobert, and he's getting sat in the fourth quarter of a crucial playoff game. I'm not talking about a January 12th game in Sacramento where he's dominating the Kings. I'm talking about Game 6 at home, and he can't be played. How can you defend that man?
Yeah, no, if we're talking about Maxi Kleba, tell me when Maxi Kleba is an all-star. All right, then we'll talk.
Well, he got played off the court by Maxi Kleba. So.
Also,
I don't like Rudy, but he's a presence. End of story.
Also,
Rudy's going to be on the Pistons next year, so good luck.
Also,
Kings.
Go ahead, Max.
Chris Paul is still top 5 point guard in history of the NBA.
Wow, hot take right there.
I mean, yes, but Steve Nash is above him.
Okay.
Steve is
Dude,
higher.
you can't end the segment on that. We didn't even.
Yeah, Steve
get
is
to that.
higher.
Oh boy.
Steve Nash, better point guard than Chris
Steve
Paul.
Nash is
Well,
so not.
You guys, my job was just to lay it out there, let you guys give everybody the flavor. So I will do this. Langley, I will do this. I will give everybody just a final word. You gave a final hot take, but just give a final word, and we'll stay in our rotation. Nick, kick it off.
Look, I even had some notes I wanted to discuss real quick. So, Chris Paul is one of the biggest phonies in the league history. So, let me tell you, he's blown, this is a stat, 5 2-0 series leads. That's the most of any player in NBA history. That's phony. All right. In game 7s in the playoffs, he's 3-5. Yeah, he's a real winner there, isn't he? Side note, Nash is 4-0 in game 7s.
Wow,
Anyways,
so Chris had 4 more opportunities?
Yeah, and he lost 5 of them. So you tell me the numbers here. So, and then yesterday, or whenever their last game was this weekend, that was one of the most embarrassing Game 7 performances I've ever seen. And he had 3 points on 4 shots in the first 3 quarters. And then he wanted to stat pad. In the first 4 minutes, he dropped 7 points when they were down 42, just to make sure he got those double digits, so it didn't look like he had the worst game ever. They were down 42. The game's over. There's no chance you're coming back on an NBA team. Chris, then you started limping off the court. Phony.
Wow. Langley, final take. And I guess it could be on anything. Poor Max over there.
I didn't know I had to write a book to end this segment, but all right, my final take will be, and it's probably going to bite me, but Bacon Tatum. From what school, Max? Duke University.
North Carolina, I think.
Will win an NBA championship this year. Until Steph Curry wins a Finals MVP, he was carried by Kevin Durant. That's all I'm going to say. Good night.
Wow. All right, Toph.
I'm just going to bring it with a positive. Raiders winning the bowl this year, baby.
There we go. We didn't even talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. We'll say that for another one. And,
No.
Yeah. And Max, you finish it off.
For, yeah. This is on piggybacking on Toph right here. I'm not going to touch the Chris Paul slander. I'm not going to give more glorification
Okay, Ryan
here.
Russillo.
Yeah, no. We got a Pat Beverly in here. I'm not going to give him his his time in the sun. But the Raiders. This is where Niners fans will understand how annoying it is when a team, like a fan in the city, okay, Sacramento, Raiders, Niners, there's not a lot else, right? Okay? They'll understand how annoying it is because we're going to be so much better than them. Niners are going to suck. They still have Jimmy Garoppolo on their freaking team for some reason. They're just trash. The Raiders have Devontae Adams, and people still think we're going to win the same amount of games. So guess what? We're going to win 12 games. We're going 12-5. Raiders are going to the playoffs. We're going to run through the AFC, and we're going to play Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, and we're going to absolutely sack him. I wanted to say a bad word, but I held back. We're going to sack him about 5 times. Crosby and Jones, get out of here. Tuck rule, screw off Tom Brady. It's the Raiders' year. Come on. Screw the Donkeys, too.
And there you have it, everybody. Nick Hilton, Kirk Langley, Toph and Max Buzzard. They are the Banter Bros group chat. I'll be back with a final word. All right, so there you have it. That was pretty fun. Pretty good stuff there. The Banter Bros group chat. I hope you enjoyed the program. We're going to have another guest, of course, coming your way next week. So don't have really much to tell you except, do all those good things like subscribe. When you subscribe, just so you know what that does for you, is that will alert you to when new episodes are coming out. Now, I can tell you we're pretty consistent with putting them out on Friday, but wouldn't you love to get that alert so you could be the first one to kind of hear and take it in? You just do that by subscribing. Of course, we love likes. If you want to write a review, we are so down for that to happen, and we do appreciate it. We're going to keep pushing here, having a lot of fun doing the podcast and the YouTube version of Experience the Buzz. That's all I got for now. Have yourself a great day. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you for joining Steve this week on Experience the Buzz. Steve would love to hear from you. Leave a review or contact Steve directly with any questions at scbuzzard@gmail.com. To see the other adventures of Steve Buzzard, be sure to visit buzzardball.com.